Hey everyone, my name is Katan. I'm founder of BossBabeBlog.com, and today we're talking about why nobody is buying from your business and how to fix it. So, BossBabeBlog.com is a small business directory, and it is full of wonderful small businesses that are all around the U.S. We even have a few that are international, some that are based in Canada. So, it's a beautiful movement that we have going on right now. With that being said, I do have more than one business, and one of them is about branding and business coaching and consulting. So, in that business, I have seen a lot of different things, and I've also seen high performers and performers that people that are not necessarily performing at where they would like to be when it comes to having your small business. So, first, I want to say that if you are someone that has a small business and no one is buying from your business, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and just know that you are not alone. It might feel like you are in some cases. Sorry, I got like a little, what's that? I don't know what that's called, sticking up at the top of my head. It's bothering me, y'all. But it might feel like you're alone, but you are not alone. There's plenty of entrepreneurs that have experiences at one point in time or are going through this right now as we speak. So, first off, just know that isolation tends to be one of the things that we do when we're not seeing the sales that we feel like we should see. When in reality, we're doing an amazing job and we just need to keep persevering and keep going. So, today I'm going to have one, two, three, four, five, six actually, um, six different things that are the reasons for why nobody is buying from your business. And then I'm going to have a way that you can work on it or how you can fix it, what I would recommend. Okay. My business experience, like I said in my previous video, I've been selling since I was about 11. I started very early, age 16. I started making products, selling bows, art, things like that to family, friends, and had a website. At the age of 18, I started in retail as a sales associate or a stock associate, worked my way up to a manager, key holder within 6 months. By the age of 21, I actually became a store manager, had my own brick and mortar location for multiple brands, and then transitioned into becoming like a cleanup manager that would go to different locations to completely restore them, retrain the team, attract top talent, retain the talent that we had. So that's just some of my experience. Now we transition into my entrepreneurship phase where I have been running and owning my own businesses on top of providing business to business services for multiple clients through marketing, advertising, branding, website design, social media management, consulting, coaching, and emotional support as well. So that's a list of my resume, just some of the things that I've been able to accomplish. And I, like I said, have seen entrepreneurs in all different types of industries. So we'll go ahead and get straight into it, but I do want to go ahead and shout out two of our sponsors that happen to join us on live today. The first one is Charlie Shops. Hello, thanks for joining. Charlie Shops is a verified business listed in our directory. She provides deals and custom gift baskets for holidays, birthdays, parties, and so much more. If you have couple events too, you can text 757-842-0556. Let me see how we're looking on Instagram. We may or may not be able to stream this on Instagram, guys. I tried it earlier. I was having some issues. I can try one more time, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Let's see. No, 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 no. We're not gonna be able to do Instagram, unfortunately, guys. So that's okay. We can still work with what we have. But yeah, so Charlie Shops. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next business owner, and that is JC Fashion Finds Boutique. Shout out to them. A style that fits your everyday and your standout moments. So this is an apparel boutique based out of New Jersey, ships nationwide. Charlie Shops is based out of Virginia, ships nationwide. And then we had another business owner listed in our directory that decided to pop in on the live today, and that was Lacole, founder of AL Publishing and Consulting. The Motivational Dialogues and Show is where you can go if you would like to have your business advertised and be interviewed on her platform for free. Go to LacoleSmith.com to book your slot. Interviews are 10 to 15 minutes, and if you decide that you like the experience and you would like to come back, you can actually purchase a speaker badge where you can come on and have your own segment on her show. Her platform has over 300 members in her community. It will be streamed on Instagram. It'll be streamed on YouTube and streamed on, what is it? I'm missing. Oh, Facebook. I could not say the name. Hello, hello. Yes, you can absolutely join. Check out LacoleSmith.com. All right. Now let's go ahead and get into this conversation, everyone. Let's talk about it. So if you are an entrepreneur, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to share this. Look, I'm like, I knew I was missing something. I've tried to share on Instagram. Sorry, Instagram fam. You will get a replay, but we got to let Instagram sit out for a little bit and then come back to them. But we still love y'all, and we will be sending a replay. Okay, let's see. We're going to send this to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So you can watch this on any of them. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you're going to have to come to YouTube. Let me see. What else we got going? That's it. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We can do Twitch as well, actually, if you have a Twitch account. Next. And feel free to come on in. Let me know if you're a business owner, a shopper, or both. And if you're a business owner, feel free to drop your website in the comments. If you know someone that you think would value this video, feel free to send them the video. And if you relate to any of the things we're about to discuss, you're more than welcome to share your experience. Okay. All right, let's get started. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Okay, let's see. Oh, I said let's get started, and then another notification popped up for this group. Okay, I'm going to share it one more time. Hopefully they let us through. Yep, they did. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's talk about it. Why nobody is buying from your business, how to fix it. The first reason, this is probably going to be the most common reason. I'm going to go through others, but we're going to start with the most common one. And that is you're not giving yourself a chance. So a lot of entrepreneurs, like I said, they come from the corporate 9-to-5 realm, and leaving from corporate 9-to-5 culture into entrepreneurship is a really huge culture shift. It's like there's a word I'm looking for that I can't think of off the top of my head, but it's culture. Oh, culture shock. That's exactly what it is. Because you go from working in an environment where you are not responsible for the entire production, you are responsible for a part of the production. So everything does not fall on you completely. There are some things that will, but a lot of stuff will not in the 9-to-5, depending on what role you're in, right? But even on top of that being the case, if you're not the CEO of the brand, you're probably going to understand what I'm saying when I say that a lot of stuff can fall on you, but every single thing may not completely fall on you unless you're doing someone else's job. And that's a lie for a whole nother day. So leaving from that environment, you've been used to seeing businesses sometimes at their best and at their worst, but you see sales coming in, you see customers, you see the business growing, you know that customers are being taken care of if you're in a customer service based business or model. And so when you transition into becoming an entrepreneur, you're expecting that you're going to see customers flowing through, you're going to see traffic, you're going to see people going to your website, you're expecting that same kind of volume. You're not even giving yourself a chance or giving yourself enough grace to know that you're just starting out. And there's a lot of people who just started out. So if you just started out, you're not going to be doing the same traffic as someone that's been around forever. If you open a burger restaurant, you can do traffic like, the local McDonald's, but McDonald's has been around for years. I mean, decades. So, with that being said, you may not be able to do the same exact amount. And does that mean that you should shut your business down simply because you're not gaining sales yet, or because people aren't walking through those doors yet? Absolutely not. You just need to be realistic with yourself and know that because you are newer, you may have to have a different approach, but it can still be done. And you should not give up on yourself before you even started. It usually takes entrepreneurs anywhere from 5 to 7 years, 5 to 7 years to get out of debt, because they are that deep in debt for their business. And so if you have a business right now and you don't have any sales, but you also don't have any debt, consider yourself doing an amazing job. Even if you do have debt, you're still doing an amazing job, but that is above average, because for a lot of entrepreneurs, they are in tons of debt or a lot of debt, and it takes 5 to 7 years to get out of that, to actually break and make a profit, or break even for all the money they spent, all the resources, all the services they purchased, all the loans or whatever it is they might have, taken out. 5 to 7 years. And for some entrepreneurs, it takes even longer. A lot of entrepreneurs give up in the first 3 to 5 years of running or starting a business. So one of the reasons why nobody's buying from your business, it might just be because you haven't been open enough, or you haven't given yourself a chance, because you're so focused on someone not buying that you're not focused on how you need to shift things to get those sales. Because it's not a question of do they want your service. It's a question of how are you going to help them to see that they want it, and how are you going to become more visible and more accessible so they can see you. And when I say accessible, I'm talking about your brand being accessible, then being able to see your website, then being able to go fill out forms, then being able to click on items to purchase. If you're not putting your brand out there and showing up, you're not going to be able to see that growth as fast. So Give yourself a chance. That's the first tip or the first reason. And then the way to fix it is to stop focusing on instant gratification and start focusing on delayed gratification. That needs to become your best friend as an entrepreneur. And also focus on creating a marketing or selling strategy. Get with people that are in the same industry as you. Start paying attention to what is working well for their brand, but also create a brand positioning map so you can decide on how closely you want to align with your competition and how far you want to differentiate yourself from them and what price point you're going to charge and what value you're going to provide. Do that. Start getting a little bit more intentional about the planning of your business. And if you've already done all this stuff that I'm talking about and you're still just not seeing sales, I don't know your personal business thing, so I can't give you like a whole rundown of a consultation, but I can say that it might just simply be due to the fact that you have not promoted enough. Because in many cases, it's not about do they like what I'm pushing, it's can they see what I'm pushing in marketing and sales and advertising. So that's something to think about. The next reason why nobody is buying from your business, and that is no momentum. So you're not building momentum for your brand. Momentum isn't something that you wait for someone else to remind you to do. Momentum isn't something that you wait for motivation to do. And momentum isn't something that is just going to come to you. You have to get up and go create it and do it. You have to be that catalyst. So if you are sitting and just kind of not resting, because there's a difference between resting, everybody needs to rest. But if you are sitting idly because you're not seeing sales, you are hurting your business more than you are helping it. If you're feeling overwhelmed, then that's where we need to go and get that assistance and that help and that coaching that we need to get out of that overwhelmed space. And if we don't have the funding to do that, we can go to research ways to do that, research free resources on how to do that. But we have to not sit, build the momentum. Building momentum comes from action. You are the one that's building it. Just like when people ask me like, how do you do it? How do you have so much energy? I wish I had that energy. It's not energy, it's discipline. It's discipline that I had to make myself get up and do these things for myself. Even on days when I don't feel well or I'm not feeling my best, I still have to make these things happen. And I have to continue to work on prioritizing my health, but also prioritizing, my brand, my dreams, my goals. I have to consistently work at that. That's discipline to do that. On the days when I say I'm tired, I don't feel like going on camera right now. That's discipline to say, guess what? You're going on camera because you know that when you go on camera, people see you and they learn about you and they feel like, this is a real place, is a real person. Even though you know that I'm a real person if you check my social media, if you check my blogs and stuff, because I'm posting all the time. Even if it's not me posting, it's scheduled all the time. There's constantly email newsletters going out. We are a documentation it's a documentation celebration over here. We are just documenting blogs, podcasts, lives, behind the scenes, all of that. So, I know people know I'm real, but I also know that when they see your face on camera and when they see you in person, it just resonates as well. Like them seeing the face of the business, they like that. They like that. So, because I know that they like that and I know that I have information that can be beneficial and can attract them to my business, I'm going to go live, even on the days sometimes when I'm not feeling good or I don't have that motivation. You have to have discipline on days when you don't have it. And that goes back to momentum. You have to have the discipline to keep building your momentum. That's just the bottom line. And no one is responsible for making you have it or pushing you to have it. You have to push yourself and do it for yourself. So if you know that you need to be going live to talk about your business, you need to go do it. You need to go do it. Everything else, well, what if people don't like me? Well, what if I look crazy? Well, I'm nervous. Well, I'm an over procrastinator, or not over procrastinator, but overthinker. Whatever it is, you have to put that out of the way. You have to ask yourself, is the con big enough to hold you back from gaining the pros? That's the question you have to ask yourself when it comes to building momentum. Because if you know that you need to go to in-person events, get out there and go to them. I'm not saying that you have to but you have to spend an arm and a leg. Oh Lord, not break an arm and a leg, but you have to spend an arm and a leg to go to the events. I'm not saying you have to drop $10,000 to go attend a networking event that may or may not be able to support you or help you. I'm not saying you have to spend $1,000. You can go to a networking event that costs $10. You can go to a networking event that costs $0. It's really about doing the research of who's going to be there and what you're going to be receiving when you get there. Because you can go somewhere and pay a whole bunch of money and then not actually receive something. And it might be because you didn't do the research on what you were getting when you got there. And this wasn't the room for you to begin with. Sometimes, but in some situations, you can leave with something. I'm leaving with something. Wherever I go, I'm leaving with something. So if I signed up for this networking event, I don't care if they're selling balloons. I'm going to get some level of information and insight from this networking event. And I'm going to leave knowing that I took something positive from this, whether it's a new networking partner, whether it's a potential client in the future, whether it's a referral from a great interaction, whether it's insight in an industry that I can exchange with someone else for insight on something. I'm leaving with something. And you have to have that mindset, and you have to build the momentum in order for you to see those sales. So why is nobody buying from your business? You're not building momentum. Momentum comes from getting up and doing. Momentum comes from creating a post with informative information. It comes from creating a video talking about your products. It comes from attending a networking event and shaking people's hands and getting in front of people. You don't have to shake hands, but get in front of them. You know, it comes from hosting your own events and stepping out of your comfort zone and putting yourself on the spotlight sometimes. Do you have to do that to build a business? No, there are some people who have a faceless brand. That is possible. But you still have to do things behind the scenes to make that happen. You still have to promote that business. You still have to build momentum. You still have to put yourself or your brand out there in ways that would be uncomfortable to you. So if you're not seeing people buy from your business, it's because you're not building that. It might be because you're not building that momentum enough. Go live, promote your products, get on selling lives, put yourself out there. Go sign up for podcast or blog interviews. Go connect with promoters and advertisers. Go see where you can get funding. Put yourself out there, build your momentum. The next thing, um, making your loss a group conversation. I actually have 6 topics. So why nobody is buying from your business? Because you're making your losses and the things that aren't working for you a group conversation, when in reality that needs to be a conversation between you, your consultant, or your coach, or you, yourself, and your research that you're doing on your how to grow your business. So many people feel like they have to be the poster child for all things struggling in their brand. And what you end up doing is you start to attract the struggle bus, because you get people who are doing the same exact thing, and that's who's going to be attracted to that kind of content. If you're looking for people to purchase from you, you need to show them how you are the solution. You don't have to have sales to be a solution. Let me say that again. You don't have to have sales to be a solution. I could have a solution on a stylish, fun, and cost-effective dress that you can get for $25 at another Miss Boutique. But I don't have to have sales to still be a solution for someone. I just need someone to find me and know that I'm that solution so they can purchase from me. So instead of focusing and fixating on the fact that you don't have sales or that you didn't gain sales, and sharing that and making it a group conversation and screaming out to the world that you don't have sales and making posts about how nobody supports you and that's why you don't have sales, or going on a platform and sharing that you didn't gain any sales, instead of doing that, let's focus and fixate on how we are the solution and how we bring relief to somebody's life and how we're doing that. What is it? Is it through a product? Is it through a service? What information are we providing to show people that we are the solution? Some people spend so much time focusing on the fact that they don't have sales that they lose track of the fact that there's people out here who really want to shop with you and don't even know what you provide, because you spent the whole 30 minutes talking about stuff that has nothing to do with how you're the solution for them. So I'm not saying that you can't have your rants. I'm not saying that you can't have a safe space where you just blow off steam and say how you're feeling. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is there's a time and place for everything, and you need to be intentional with your time. And if you're spending 50% of it talking about how you're not gaining sales and no one's supporting you, guess what? That's 50% loss that could have been spent on promoting your products, your services, and your solutions to gain that one sale or that client, because there is truth in the power of one. You know, it only takes one person to have a wonderful experience and say, wow, this is great. Go back and share it with a whole network of people. One person to say, wow, I love your services. Let me invest in you, and put down cash on whatever it is you're needing assistance with. One person to say, I believe in your mission. I want to fund you, and send you a huge donation. There is the power of one. So you have to focus in on building momentum, number one. Number two, giving yourself a chance while you're building that momentum. Don't beat yourself up if you're not seeing instant gratification. And number three, let's not make your, things that you feel like you're not having enough of the highlight of your conversations and group conversations. That's not a group conversation. Go and get a consultant, go get a confidant, and talk to them in private. That's not a group conversation to be broadcast into the cities, because how the math doesn't make sense, but people still do it because we are emotional beings, and sometimes we allow the emotions to take over us being able to just listen and take accountability and focus on the solution. So the math of, I don't have sales, so I'm going to go and talk to everybody about how I don't have sales. I'm going to publicly share and broadcast that I don't have sales. And that's going to make people feel confident enough to come and purchase from me so I can have sales. So hearing that out loud, I paused, but hearing that out loud might help someone to see how being that person that's just always crying no sales, it could be hurting your brand in ways that you didn't realize. And you don't, every conversation isn't a group conversation. If you're struggling in an area in business, find your professional you trust. Stop making that a group conversation amongst other entrepreneurs or amongst people just because they're an entrepreneur, just because you feel comfortable. Everything doesn't have to be said. Go and find someone you trust, do the research, and start working on your brand, growing your business, and finding more ways to show people how you are the solution. Because when you do that, you're going to start to see those sales. People want solutions. They don't want to talk about how you're not sales, no one's supporting you, no one wants to hear all that. They want solutions. How are you making their life easier? How are we coming to a solution? How are we elevating? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves when we're talking about our business. And so we're able to tell people how you're going to help them elevate in an area of their life. Then guess what? You're able to see them want to make a purchase and want to shop with you. So that's the third thing. That was the bonus. The next thing is being pleasant. Why nobody's shopping with your business? And this might not be everybody. You might actually be a very pleasant person watching this. But I've experienced interactions with entrepreneurs or heard of interactions with entrepreneurs or watched someone experience an interaction with an entrepreneur where they're just not pleasant. Like there's nothing pleasant and refreshing about them. It's always draining. It's always dragging to have a conversation with them or like to interact with them. I'm not saying that you need to be a people pleaser because those are two different things. But just being a pleasant individual that people want to talk to and I don't know, be around and conversate with and want to learn more, about that sometimes we need to work on that. We don't realize how much that's important. And that goes for entrepreneurs, that goes for non-entrepreneurs. I mean, you want to see, there was a saying, it was like what, attract more bees with honey or right? More bees or more flies or something. I don't know. Y'all know what I'm getting at. I haven't heard it in a minute, but it's a saying. And it's really about how being pleasant or just, even being attractive to a person is going to increase your return on investment with them. And some people are genuinely just not pleasant individuals. I've experienced it. I've seen it. They're passive aggressive. They're hostile. Um, they are not good listeners. They're not active listeners. They are all about them. And when you're all about you as an entrepreneur or as a person, you're never going to see the results that you were looking to see. When you're all about a mission that's important, you're going to see those results in those sales. But sometimes people are just not pleasant individuals and they don't realize how they come across to people. And a lot of people aren't going to tell you. Customers aren't going to tell you. Some of them might, but a lot of them aren't going to tell you. They're just going to go shop somewhere else or never shop with you. Clients and contractors, service providers, collaborators, partners aren't going to tell you. Your managers aren't going to tell you. Your team members aren't going to tell you all the time. They're just going to eventually start to, fade on out. But how you speak to people is important. And even when you're not getting what you want, there's no reason to be rude. I've seen instances where a person wanted something like maybe they wanted a service for free or they wanted a specific service that I just didn't have to provide. And because I said I can't provide that, but I can, maybe send you in the direction of somebody that can provide that service. They were not pleasant. They had attitude or snappy or just, became irresponsive. If it was like online and didn't respond back or say, okay, I appreciate that. No, thank you. I'm not looking for any referrals, but I appreciate that. Or just, no, thank you. No, I didn't need any referrals. I just wanted to see if you were interested or, something along those lines. But a lot of people are just really not pleasant. Like, very, very dusty behavior going on out here in these streets. And I'm not saying you need to be perfect, but just to be pleasant, just to actively go out of your way to think about what you're saying to a person and how you're impacting a person. And if you're being led by emotions or being self-centeredness or being self-centered, or if you're being led by actually trying to get a result or a solution or show someone that you have a solution or be of aid to someone or really help them, or if it's about ego and making a point or, dragging something. It's just too much of that going on right now. And that is a huge reason why someone would say, wow, I was really considering doing this, and that with you, but from this interaction, just from the way you started the interaction, I don't want that, you know? So sometimes we don't realize that in entrepreneurship and we don't have a mirror. So when it's happening, there's not someone to say, you're not really that pleasant to talk to. You're not really that pleasant to be around. You're not really solution oriented. There's a lot of people who need therapy that are out here being entrepreneurs and don't realize how having these issues internally does affect your relationships in business and in friendships. So when you have these internal issues that you're not working through, it will transfer over into your relationships and business. And it will transfer over in the energy that you provide. If you're someone that has control issues, you're going to have an issue with letting other people just be what they are and moving on. And that's going to translate into business. And people are going to see that and sense that in you. And it's not going to go very well. You know, if you have an issue with feeling as if everything should be your way, which also I guess goes back to control issues, you're gonna miss out on great collaborations and opportunities because there are people doing things in different ways that make a lot of sense that you just haven't seen before or you don't operate from, that could really benefit you, but because you are closed-minded to the way they're doing it and feel that people should do the things the way that you think they should do it, and you don't even have the information to know how they should be doing it or the experience, you'll miss out on really great opportunities in front of you. So that's another thing. When you feel the need to over validate yourself, like you need that validation, you seek it from other people, you're going to overcompensate. Therefore, you are going to pour out everything that you can to a person to feel that credibility that you don't feel already. Because when you feel it, you don't need to express it so loudly. So you don't have to make someone try to feel like you are the bomb or you do what you do. You know you're a specialist because you are a specialist. And they're going to come to you and ask you questions because they genuinely want your assistance. They're here for help. You don't feel the need to have to tell them, well, I do this and I do that, and I know this and I have this experience. Now, there's a difference between being confident and vocalizing your strong suits. I think everyone should do that. And I think that if you're intimidated by someone vocalizing their strong suits, that is also an internal issue that can affect your business relationships. But there are times when people want to give unsolicited opinions with very limited experience and results to state that what they are saying aligns with, the truth. And sometimes they have this want to control and just, showboat how what they have to say is of value when it's not always of value or it's not always correct. And that comes from feeling the need to, like, you seek validation in that. I don't seek validation in making others feel like I'm right and I know this and I'm that. I see validation in myself from the work that I do, the consistency that I have, developed and created for my brand, the quality that I've been able to produce for a lot of people at extremely affordable prices. Now, prices may not always be the same, but I have been able to change a lot of businesses for the better and help a lot of people without them having to, be put out of their house and home and all, and, give an organ and stuff. And that's not to say that there won't be expensive items, but the things that I've been able to do, that's what has given me that validation, me building that momentum for myself and showing up for myself and making sure that I'm prioritizing me so that I can then prioritize my business and my clients. So these are just examples, and I could go a little further, but I have more to share on how not having that perception and that self-awareness can translate into your business relationships and sometimes even people that were thinking about shopping with you, because just how you come across, how you say things, your energy, what you bring to a room when you step in. Do you bring dreadfulness? Do you bring unnecessary stress? Do you bring is that what you bring? Because if you bring that, that doesn't tell someone that you're the solution. So that's just another tip on why nobody might be buying from your business. Because I've had times where I had already lined up in my mind how I wanted to spend money with a person before we've even gotten into their services, because I've already done some research on them and I'm interacting with them and I'm connecting with them. And as I'm connecting with them, I'm mentally retracting the services that I thought I was going to be purchasing, because you are exhausting. You are exhausting. So I don't know if anyone has experienced that before. And when I say exhausting, I mean absolutely just I'm drained from dealing with you. And from that, I don't want to purchase and I don't want to refer you to anybody, and I won't be, because I don't want someone else to experience that and come back and say it, and then I have to open my mouth and say, oh yeah, I experienced that too. So, that could be one of the reasons. And like I said, if you're a pleasant person, then just skip past this. If you've done that self-awareness, you've done that internal work. But a lot of people have not done that internal work and do have emotional areas. We all have areas we can grow in, but they have some very big emotional deficits, emotional intelligence, emotional maturity, self-control, impulse control, and they allow that to translate into their business relationships and their potential clients. And it does affect people who probably could have spent money with you or even referred people to you or promoted you on a different level. But now that they've experienced that, it's going to be set down. So, yeah. Another thing, not clear. So you could not be clear. Another reason why nobody's buying from your business. You could not be clear enough on what it is that you have to provide. Sometimes we want people to just start dropping dollars, just dropping bands, but what are you promoting? What are you selling? What is the benefits of it? Or, how much does it cost? Where can I go and purchase it? Where can I go if I have some questions? Just having that information already there, it does help with expediting that sales, the buyer's journey. I've talked a lot about the buyer's journey in my marketing and consulting sessions, but understanding where your consumer is on different levels of learning about your business. And if you have the information for them on each level, you're going to increase the chance that they're going to make the purchase, and you're going to speed up the process that they make the purchase without diluting the quality. So having your information there. I put so much information on my products and services when people go to purchase on there. I add FAQs. If someone's asking frequently asked questions, or if I'm seeing a lot of feedback from my website, I will take those FAQs and I will add them to the product information. So there's so much information. Where is the event hosted? How long will we be there for the event? Who will be attending? What you should expect, what energy is, or what it's about, why it was created, things like that. The location, how much it will cost to be a vendor, how much it'll cost to be a sponsor. All of this information is put out because the more detailed you can be for a person, the quicker they're going to go and make that purchase in a lot of cases. Think about you. When you want something, you don't want to ask a million questions to see if you want it. You just want the information given to you so you can make a buyer decision. You don't want someone overselling to you, because if you're going to buy it, it's going to be because you value it, not for any other reason. So you just want the information, and then you're going to go and make the purchase. That's just it. What can you give me? You can give me this. Here's all the things that I can give you. Okay, I'll make that purchase. That's what you want. So you give that to your customers, and you're going to increase the chance of people wanting to spend money with you, or you will get your first sale. All right. The next thing is consistency. So we talked about this a little bit in the momentum, but this is a different level of consistency. Whatever it is that your brand stands for, whatever it is that you say you're about, whatever it is that your motto or beliefs are, practicing being consistent with that, but also being consistent with how you show up for your business. Why nobody's buying from your business? It might be because you're lacking consistency. And let me tell you how to fix that. You have to decide on if you want this and how bad you want it and how much you're willing to work towards it. That's that simple. I do want to have this business. I want it kind of bad, not crazy bad, but I want it kind of bad. And I'm not willing to do more than 2 days a week. And then you have to ask yourself, does that align? I kind of, yeah, because you're saying kind of, and you're not willing, you're only able to work 2 days out of a week. Okay, you can still get productive with 2 days out of a week, but if you're not wanting to work any other days and you're not wanting to do, too much work or anything, you might see that it's going to be a little bit of a slowdown in getting those sales for your business. But if you want to get better at consistency, then you need to be honest with yourself. That is how you fix consistency, because being honest with yourself gives you permission to say how bad you really want something and then start making the changes to get it. If you don't really want it, you're not going to be consistent, because you have to have discipline. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. And you're only going to have discipline with something when you truly want it. There's nothing in this world that's going to pull you from getting it, from going for it. You're going to have to be consistent on your own. That requires discipline. So understanding that it's not a motivation game, it's a discipline game. Understand how you work and how your brain works. If you know you're someone that over procrastinates, then you need to be planning out way ahead of time. You don't need to be waiting until 1 to 2 days to get stuff done, because you already know you procrastinate. So when those 1 to 2 days come up, guess what? Got a whole bunch of stuff that you procrastinate on doing. You need to get it done as soon as you know it needs to be done. Understanding your brain. That is one of the best ways. Figure out what type of learner you are. How does your brain learn and absorb knowledge best? What's your personality type? Understand who you are, and then create a system that encourages discipline based off of your personality. That is how you can fix that. Not having clarity. Go and there's free templates online where you can look up a template on how to create a business marketing plan. I have templates you can buy on my website. You can text help to 833-705-4352. If you are wanting any of these templates, we can send those templates out to you. I think they go anywhere from 0 to 19.99 on the price range on the templates, but business planning templates. And then we also have, let's see what else. Not being pleasant. I would say practice socializing more with people. Practice hearing people. And this is the biggest thing to help you. If you feel like people are not having a pleasant experience when they talk to you, or they just don't really like talking to you or being around you too much, there's one thing that you can do. You can practice absorbing instead of releasing. So listening to listen, not to respond. If you ask a question, actually be absorbing the answer that you're receiving, not asking the question so that you can get ready to give your list of stuff that you're going to argue with. If you're asking a question, ask because you really want to receive the information. When people are telling you about themselves, what they want, their preferences, what's going on, try to retract the need or want to like put yourself into it and just listen. Because listening, it does a lot, and you can avoid a lot. People usually tell you everything you want to hear when you listen. You take that information and then you move to do what you need to do, and you waste less time, which means that you get more money, because wasted time is lost money. So there's that. And then the other thing is, stop making your losses, or your ability or non-ability to gain sales, a group conversation. The solution to that I've already said like 4 times, but I'm gonna say it again. Get you a consultant, get you a confidant, get you a professional that has experience in the area that you need to release about, and make that your space to release. And do not come out of that space to share that stuff anywhere else, because you need a safe space, and you don't know if a space is safe before you start doing that. So if you are on a group conversation and you start talking about how, yeah, I'm just not getting any sales, nobody supports me, but it's a group room with sellers, shoppers, all combined, that's not a safe space. It's not. It can be with time as we all get to know each other, but that you don't know if that's a safe space. And when I say safe, I mean people are feeling your intentions, or they're feeling your emotions and your intentions over feeling offended or looking for a way to make it something negative. You have to find your safe space, because when you're in your safe space, people will allow you to release and say how you feel, not judge you, not make changes towards you because of how you feel, but they'll allow you to do that. And most importantly, they'll allow you time and space so that you can elevate or evolve. Because sometimes we say things out of being upset or irritated, and we're wrong. And when you go to a safe space, you can do that. You can say, man, nobody supports me. Or, man, I haven't done any sales. This business, it just sucks. Honestly, I don't have anything that I'm doing well in. Now, I would hope you wouldn't say that about your business. But if you do, and you say it in a safe space, the person that's around you isn't going to look at you and say, I'm never going to shop with you again because you're not ready. They're going to say, hey, I can see you're feeling emotional right now. Let's take a deep breath. You can get through this. They're not going to hold that against you. But in some spaces, people are waiting to hold something against you. And I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm saying that because that is the reality of life. People are seeking a way to be offended. They are seeking a way to hold things against you because they're looking for that problem. They're addicted to it. That's the reality for a lot of people. And that is why we have to have safe spaces. So find a safe space through a consultant, through a coach, and that's where you talk about where you're struggling in sales. Stop making it a group thing. Stop broadcasting it to the ceilings that, I don't have any sales, nobody buys from me, and then turning around and saying, by the way, want to buy from me? That's not going to work. That approach does not work for a lot of people, because what it tells the consumer who does not know you is that, number one, you don't have confidence in yourself. Because if you had confidence, you have a confidence to know that, hey, I may not have sales today, but I'm going to have them soon, because what I have to offer is a solution. And I'm a solution whether I have sales today or not. That confidence is attractive to people. And that's what brings them towards you, because when you have confidence in yourself, you have confidence to deliver whatever solution it is that you're presenting to them. But when you are not having confidence in yourself, and you're negatively down in yourself, and you're constantly making a group conversation of things that aren't going well in your life in places that are not safe, you are inviting a different kind of energy that may not always be positive, from people who are looking for a problem, or from people who are in the same space and not doing anything to get out of that space. Feeling down and discouraged is a tricky thing because you have to feel it, you have to sit in it, and then you need to get up and be productive. And a lot of people make the mistake of sitting in that for way too long. And that is why they don't have any sales. So hopefully that gives some insight. The next thing is the no momentum thing. No momentum is kind of like dip your toe in the water and just jump out there and do it, almost, to an extent. I'm not saying crazy stuff like you got to do the research, but networking events that are real, that are safe, that have been, occurring, that has social proof that this is a real person that you're meeting in person and stuff like that. Go to a networking event. Go live. Just go live and talk about who you are. If you are someone that is not a faceless brand and you do have your pictures and stuff up on your business, or, you do have stuff about yourself on your business, if you haven't made a post on social media introducing yourself to your followers and telling them what you provide, what are we waiting on? Get out there and do it. That is one of the ways you build momentum, taking action and consistently challenging yourself to step out of your comfort zone in healthy ways, in healthy doses. But you got to keep that going. You can't stop that. And because once you stop it, you become that procrastinator. You become that, oh, I'll do it later. You become that, I'll sign up next time. You become that, I'm going to cancel. And it just keeps happening. You can build momentum in a good way and you can build momentum in a bad way. So you need to choose what type of momentum you want to build so that you can see the growth that you want to see. If you want to build positive momentum where you're gaining sales and leads down the line, then we need to be doing positive things. We need to be saying positive things. We need to be in positive rooms. We need to be making positive choices. We need to be having positive interactions. We need to have a positive mindset. If you are looking to build negative momentum where you are not gaining any sales and struggling with gaining clients, then you're going to be in the opposite. You're going to be in rooms where we sit and complain about everything that's not right. We're going to be in rooms where we're worrying about what the next person is doing. We're going to be in rooms where we're criticizing what the next person is doing and we're not even doing it ourselves. We're going to be in rooms where we just sit and complain about stuff all day because we have time to complain because we're not making any money. That's the momentum that we build. You choose which momentum you want to be a part of and you start building that momentum consistently. And that is how you're going to start to see sales in your business. Okay? I hope that this video really did help somebody and bring some insight to their day, to their business. If you're new in business, if you've been in business, but you're really struggling right now. And I want you to know that no matter what your funding level is, there's always going to be something out there that's going to be able to support your business growth. So if you have a funding goal right now, or you are at a funding, I'm not going to say funding limit, your funding status. I got to correct myself on that. Your funding status, send that over. Text us. Send a text to 833-705-4352. Sorry, it's our new text line that we're testing out. But text the words help or promo or just help to that line and gain assistance. And let's start talking about what your funding status is and what you're trying to achieve for your business. Because based off of those two things, we can provide you with a service, a product, a resource, a place, a community that may be able to align with that. Okay? It is out there. How you get it is going to be determined on your status of funding and your discipline. So go out there, go get it. You can do this. Don't stay discouraged. Don't sit in that for too long. Get away from people that are not accountability focused. When you step into rooms where people are not taking accountability for their shortcomings and how they can work and get better and elevate, you're going to be there for too long. Find rooms where people are focused on the solution, what is next, what we can do, how we're going to get this done. That's where you need to be. Go to those places. And if you want places like that, text us 833-705-4352. Text help there. Send us your funding status. Tell us what you're trying to achieve. Receive the services or estimates or resources based off of where you are at. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will be back again because we're going to be talking about another topic around entrepreneurship, I believe. But let me just double check. And just in case you need to check, I think we're on video number 4 after this. Let's see. Yes, video number 4. Why you might be struggling to socialize with business peers and creating meaningful connections. Keyword, meaningful. Something that is of value to you, that you look back 5-6 years later and say, wow, I appreciate this. I'm not saying that it has to make or break your entire life, but meaningful connections. Why you might be struggling with gaining those as an entrepreneur. Let's talk about it. I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes.